Hey, good evening, everyone. This is yours truly, Tammy B. And I am coming to you with another session of Real Talk with Tammy B and Company, the show where we are recording live so that you can actively engage in our conversation via the chat feature. And before we get I'm playing back to myself. Okay, I was getting my own feedback. Those little technical glitches. So, if you all are watching us via another platform, I invite you to jump over to YouTube if you have something to say and want to be a part of the conversation. And if you are on YouTube, please, sir, please, ma'am, drop us questions and or comments throughout the conversation so I can share it with the gentleman this evening. Also, before we get started, I want to ask if you are not part of our community, I invite you to join us by subscribing as we are here weekly at 7:30 p.m. Eastern with new content in which you all know I am always grateful for you amazing people being with us this evening. And it is the third Wednesday of the month. So, this is one of those Wednesdays I am always looking forward to. And we are having the Real Men, Real Talk conversation. So, our girl Cola E the Great will not be with us. But in a minute, our man, Mr. Shelly Sims, will be joining us. But before he does, I do have my man, Mr. Rondi Isaac, aka Chocolate Buddha, who is our yoga instructor. Hey, Rondi.
Hey, what's going on out there, folks? Good to be with y'all tonight.
It is good to have you. It is good to have you. Thank you so much for being with us. And my man, Mr. Troy Rogers. Hey, Troy. Troy, always
Hello.
how you doing? How you doing?
I'm good, happy, blessed, feeling good, just enjoying the energy and the love today. That's all. Just happy to be alive.
I felt that. I felt that. I love see positive energy, positive vibes. See, that's what this platform offers. I love it. Thank you for that. And like I'm even loving this white background that Rondi got going on because white is zen. It's so peaceful. Yes, I notice these things. Yes.
I'm just trying to get in my angelic mode.
Listen. Speaking of your angelic mode, I needed your angels because let me tell you what trouble you got me in with YouTube. When you played Teddy Pendergrass, feel so good loving somebody, and honey, I got a copyright notification violation in everything. Okay.
Okay.
Yes. So I was like, OMG. So I've been waiting all month for literally about 4 weeks to tell you, like, yeah, you got me in YouTube trouble. But they're like, okay, you're fine. We just having to. So I had to try to say, could y'all please use y'all AI magic and wipe that part so we can, I think I even got an email from some attorney talking about I violated copyright.
That's
Oh
wow.
man, yeah. I please don't send it my way.
I won't. I won't. I listen.
I
I got this. I got this. I got this. They'll be all right. And I thought you could play like a snippet of stuff, because it's not like you played the whole song and tried to. But how.
I played enough of it that they knew.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
Hey,
You did play the
hey,
hook.
hey, Shelly.
Hello. How y'all doing?
Shelly,
How's everybody?
we're good. How are you?
I'm good. I cannot get this computer to turn on to save my life.
Look, the same one you was having problems with last week.
No, last time the dogs had chewed up my wire outside for the Wi-Fi. Now the computer just I don't know. But I'm here. I'm on the phone. So there's a computer turn on. I'm going to switch it up, though.
Okay, well, I appreciate you being here because you just missed me telling Rondi how he got me in copyright trouble last month when he played Teddy Pendergrass.
Oh,
We
shoot.
played Teddy P. Yeah, I got all kind of copyright notification violations and all kind of stuff. But I feel they'll be all right.
They ain't got no choice at this point.
Exactly. Well, they're like, well, we can use our magic to try to remove it. Go ahead and remove that clip of the song. Just
exactly.
And let's let life move on because it's life and enough. We don't need these extra dramas. Right. But listen, let's send some our good positive look. Troy, you happy, and Rondi, you angelic. Let's send good vibes to William. He's not feeling well. So we pray for his well-being. So we sending love and vibes and positive energy and healing energy his way. So William, we miss you. Just get better. Take care of you first. Take care of you first. So I'm gonna actually do this in reverse. Troy, what's good with you this evening?
Listen, right about now, everything's good. I'm just like enjoying like life. I happen to be down in Southern California, and I was getting some. It's like was raining. They had a thunderstorm, and I just love the thunder showers, and that's something you normally don't get on the West Coast. You normally get those on the East Coast a lot more. So it was just really nice to have that. And I don't know, for me, it's just something peaceful and serene about it. It reminds me of sitting back on my grandmother's porch and playing, like sitting on the rocking chair while it would just rain and storm. And so for me, it's kind of that kind of thing. It's like a nostalgic feeling, something that I remember from childhood. So for me, it was just really calming and peaceful because that's one of those times where you have to sit still, So I had a little bit of peace and sitting still before this started. So yeah.
Can I tell you how much I love that? So it's funny that you said that because, like, I really want to. Within the last couple of days, I found myself thinking about when we were snowed in Atlanta a couple of days this year. I said, "Man, I wouldn't be against being snowed in again because it was."
Hold up. Did you say snowed in? Because we had an inch of snow.
It don't matter. They said they shut down the city. I'm just saying.
Now, I've never seen nothing like that in my life. In Colorado, snowed in is 3-4 feet, and we still walk to school.
But Colorado, Georgia,
I've never seen nothing like that in my life.
But it was just beautiful because look, at that time, life couldn't make demands on you because you couldn't address them. You know what I'm saying? So I appreciate times like that. In fact, I'm headed to Jamaica next week, and I'm sitting here like looking so forward to unplugging, even though I'll have the international data plan, but I really don't plan on responding. So unless it's a 911 emergency, we pull that out the air. I'm chilling. I'm unplugging.
There you go.
Yes. So with that being said, Rondi, what's good with you?
Oh man, I don't know if you guys know, but my organization, we work in schools and we bring wellness and mindfulness into young folks' life. We go inside the classroom and we do some work with the young folks. And so school started about a month ago. And but we let the school settle in, let the kids settle in, and then we come in, and our first day was yesterday. So we go to a high school and an elementary school, and these kids need some mindfulness. The teachers were like, thank you. We appreciate you being here. Come on in, help us. But the babies got a lot to deal with in their lives, and so anyway we can assist the teachers and help these young folks out to help them really just with all the things that they have to take in on a daily basis, because they're on social media a lot. That's how they They do, and they hear some of these things, and they know some of these things, and they're really trying to figure it out, and we're just giving them some tools to help them regulate themselves, you know. So that's what's happening with me. Happy to be back in the schools. Yeah.
Oh my goodness, I love that. I love that. As a matter of fact, I love hearing the stories of when men are investing in the children. And just a long story short, Sunday I was in no, yeah, it was Sunday. I was in Publix and I was getting a sandwich and I heard this guy, he was talking, and the lady behind the counter, the deli stand was waiting on him. And so he turned around and said to her, he said, "I'm sorry, no, 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 please forgive me," and continued his conversation. And so, me, the conscious person that I am, I turned to him, I said, "I called it. I caught your conscious decision to not say I'm sorry and to say please forgive me." And he proceeded to say, "I work with young men, and that's what I try to tell them. I'm teaching them mindfulness. So it does my heart good to know that this is starting early on in life, because the world will change if people can get into a consciousness mindfulness mindset, because
Hmm.
that's some of the stuff we're gonna talk about tonight. Because Lord have
Mm.
mercy. Last week we had a whole conversation on mass hypnosis. It's this global mass hypnosis, and it's a lot going on. But before we jump in, Shelly, what's good with you, sir?
Same old same. Just trying to make it happen. Things are a little chaotic, but they say when you think it's falling out of place, it's really falling into place. So I'm just putting everything together and letting it, what they say, let go and let God, as they say. Yeah.
That's it. That's it. I love it. I love it. I love it. And I'm with you. I do believe things are falling into place. Even sometimes things got to be shaken up like the eagle's nest in
Mhm.
order to be brought back together. So I love that. I love that. So listen, everyone, following up to something that I mentioned last month, just a reminder. And if you are a male in the Atlanta area or will be in Atlanta this Saturday, the Black Men's Wellness Day Tour 5K Run Walk event, sponsored by the African American Male Wellness Agency, is this Saturday from 7 a.m. to 12 p.m., located at 2001 MLK Drive. And the focus is to support the health of men by offering various health checks, hypertension, prostate, diabetes, etc., and basically tools to help support their well-being. So make you a priority, and if you're in the area, go be part of the festivities. Now I got a question for the day. Y'all know I have a question for the day. And so viewers, I'm going to ask you all, if you're in position, type your answer to this question, because I want to ask you guys. I want to hear what you guys have to say. So let's see. I'm gonna start with the order everybody came on. Rondi, what do you wish you might have understood better? What's something in life you wish you would have understood better?
Um, the that what you do early in life reflects what happens to you later in life. Um,
Mm.
for example, we can just use for like education wise, um, like if you are doing well in school, you elementary school, junior high, and high school, you do well, then you go to college, finish college, and then you presumably get a nice job, right? But um, that means that you're completing these things, and I just know that there are some things that I wish I would have did when I was younger, and it would have really helped me out now. And what I mean, some of the things I would have did, just finishing some things. I was the type of person that would start things and not really complete them, right? And that was a pattern into my adulthood, starting things and not really completing them. And once I figured it out that you're not really completing these things, you're starting these things and getting halfway through them and just letting it go. And once I figured that out, things became much better for me.
Wow. I love that. I love that. And disclaimer, guys, they're putting carpet upstairs in the apartment above me. So I may have to mute. So if you guys hear any banging, which I am trying to figure out why they're being allowed to do this at 8 o'clock at night. But
Mm.
yeah. So if you hear banging, that's what that is. So Rondi, I love that. I love that because it's I was so the last time we all were together when I was with you gentlemen, I brought up Napoleon Hill's Outwitting the Devil. So needless to say, I did listen to the book. Shelly, I still think I might need to grab it and read it. But and one of the things that he said, Napoleon says that he did when he cracked the code and interviewed the devil, he said one of the things like is that starting and not stopping. That's one of the things that he used to control people and stuff like that. And then lately, I've been hearing more and more on like a lot of spiritual consciousness messages that I listen to about like these loops that we leave open and spiritually when we don't finish stuff that we start. And even like at numerically, this year is a 9 year, and this is a year that's calling for completion of a lot of things as well. So but I'm guilty of that too, and I'm working through it. I'm literally consciously these days like, okay, I need to close this loop, I need to do this, and I need to do that. So I love what you just said. Troy, what do you wish you would have better understood?
I think mine is very similar as investing in self. I think I've invested a lot of my time and energy into others, but not enough of that energy into myself. And I think that that was something I started to get a little bit more as I got a little older. Self care, caring for, just taking care of yourself because you're always pouring into everybody else's cup. But then, your cup is overflowing, and at some point you had to slow down, settle down, and also like care for self. And I think that's something, if I could have done things a little differently, I would have done that, and then focus more on my own purpose, to resolve a lot of different things, which I'm now doing later. But I wish I had started earlier.
I love it. You guys have some great responses. And September is Self Care Awareness Month. So that's even an extra incentive to do more of that self care and taking care of you right now as well. Shelly, what do you wish you would have better understood?
One, I'm gonna have to go with what Rondi said. I got that. That was the main thing. Keep going at what you're doing, even when it seems like it's not happening. Like your break is right there. But I will say my thing was, the quote I read. It said, "Most entrepreneurs, if you live 3 years like most people won't, you'll live a lifetime like most people can't." So I wish I understood the sacrifice of just saying no and staying at it and saving and putting everything towards not work, but towards my goal, my business for a consistent amount of time and where I be right now. I wish I understood that better because I always think about if I would have just did this for 3-4 more years, like we didn't miss out on nothing. If I look back, like why I didn't do it because you always feel you're gonna miss out. But when you look back at what happened, it's like I could have did without all that. If I would have just stuck to the plan, I'd be in a whole different position right now.
Mm.
That is beautiful. That is beautiful. Because you know what? As a matter of fact, a life coach, no, in my life coach training, one of the instructions that she gave was, um, like somebody said, well, I know I want to go back, I need to go back to school, but it's going to take 3 years or whatever, whatever, whatever. Okay, but here's the thing, those 3 years are going to come.
Mm-hmm.
And look at the benefit of going, having it come, and then you have finished, made this accomplishment. So I think sometimes we do get caught up in the now,
Hmm.
um and use those as excuses to hold us back. So but I love what all of you guys have said, because this is real and this is good stuff. This is good stuff. So, and somebody put in the chat, I wish I knew the importance of financial literacy and how important it is to have your money work for you. Yes, Kimberly. Yes. Yes. As a matter of fact, I should have had this video queued up, but I have other stuff queued up for us tonight. But a lady was she used to work for the what is it, the stock market. She used to work in that industry, and what she said, even in the case of insurance, leaving your beneficiary, she was saying leave that to a trust. In other words, instead of leaving your family $1 million, she said leave it to a trust and have them put it in a brokerage account that pays out high dividends. Then when they pay out, that way they'll be continuously on an ongoing basis getting money, um to continue to pay them, so that $1 million never runs out and it continues to grow. That was something, and if I would have thought about it, I would have had that queued up, because I thought that was some really good information. It was only like a minute short that I came across on YouTube, but that was some good stuff. So Kimberly, thank you for that, because I think we all, and I really wish they would bring that into the school system, but we know why it's not there. So our little fun food fact for today: National Apple Dumpling Day. I don't think I'm a fan of apple dumpling. Now, apple pie, yes. Dumpling, I think they, I think I'm good on that. I think I'm good on that one. And then now, this is where this conversation gonna get interesting. Today is Constitution Day, which is a U.S. federal holiday to commemorate the signing of the U.S. Constitution in 1787. It's also known as Citizenship Day. Although it's interesting, the situation that's playing out in the Matrix right now. I mean, I'm sorry, the news slash U.S. stage today. Who is this Bondi person, Pamela Bondi, who's trying to crack down on hate speech? And I'm just really throwing this on the table right now, because honestly, I'm not even sure how I want to finish that one. So anybody care to comment on it, because I'm trying to understand why you focusing on hate speech, if there, and I guess the people are talking about the amendment. So what defines hate speech? Because I almost feel some hate speech low key was done by the man she worked for, but I'm gonna give you guys an opportunity to chime in.
I haven't heard anything about it, but I will say that I don't think nobody's speech should be controlled. If you don't like it, don't listen to it. Like, yeah, people feel like they're forced to listen to what's being said that they don't like. That makes no sense. Like, even like how comedians get canceled. Like, what is you at his show for if you don't like what he said? Like the freedom is the freedom to leave, just like there's a freedom to go. So if you don't like what's being said, then don't participate in it.
That part right there.
Mm.
And speaking of the freedom isn't free, I didn't have a chance to research it, but somebody was telling me that certain people that said something about in I guess it depends on how you define derogatory way, where this Charlie Kirk lost a job at Delta. I don't know if that's true or not, but somebody told me something to that effect. I just haven't
Mm.
had a chance to look it
It's
up.
true. It's
It's
not
true.
just them. It was, yeah. It was Delta. It was United, I think, and there were three airlines I know that have fired staff members for though for making comments. I haven't seen yet what those comments actually were, because anything when it comes to this situation seems to be deemed hate speech. And it's unfortunate because I don't think you have to do very much in order for them to deem it that. I think it's just that, hey, look, at the end of the day, I think sometimes we forget where we are,
Yeah.
and this country is functioning exactly as it was meant to, and it just shows you exactly where we are, and this is just a reminder of where we've always been. Unfortunately, that's what we were predicated on. That's what this whole foundation is on white supremacy, and therefore, I mean, this is why we're talking about putting a statue of somebody who's not been so nice to anyone outside of his own people, and made a lot of horrible comments. And so if you say anything that's anything different than that, then it's like, let's cancel you.
I think when it comes to people at work, though, if you work for a company, you're representing the company. So if the company is built on certain views, then by agreeing to work for them, you're subject to those views. So I know with my company, if I don't like cats, then whoever works for me is not going to be talking about cats. You know what I mean? Like, you're representing my company, and this is how I want my company built. So part of being free, like, this is my company, and I represent a general public, so there won't be any personal comments because we have to satisfy everyone here, and it's the company's choice. I'm just really pro business. Like, if it's your company, you run it how you want to run it, and if people don't represent you how you want to be represented, they need you do fire them. And it might be sound little to other people or prejudice, whatever it is, but any of us, if you have a job and your staff isn't working or speaking the way you want them to speak, greeting your customers correctly to what you said was correct for your company, you're gonna fire them. And that's just business to me.
I get you. I hear you, Shelly. But if this is in a person's own time, and I'm just playing advocate right now because I don't care one way or the other, but this is for conversation here. So if this is me on my own personal time and I'm saying whatever I want to say because it's supposed to be my amendment right. So first of all, I guess free speech ain't really free if it's gonna cost me my employment. And I understand what you're saying. Okay, this may not be the position of the company, but that dictating what I do on my personal time, I just think that that is not. I mean, I feel there's a thin line with the rights in all this.
No, I agree with that 100%. If you're at home and you with your crowd saying what you want, what work feel has nothing to do with home. Once you clock off, you're off work. That is a fact. I'm with you 100%. But I said I didn't watch the news, so I don't know what happened. But if they were at work speaking or on break or on lunch, you're still on company time. But if you're at home, then that's 100% different. How I'm when I'm home, I'm me. I'm no longer an employee of such and such company. So if they were, that definitely is bending, is pushing the line a lot. So.
Well, let me tell you, some corporations, you can be penalized for stuff you do outside of your working hours. Yeah. And I guess that's the safest way to say that.
Yeah. I agree with you, Shelly. I think private organizations have the right. I think they have the right to expect that their employees will represent themselves in a certain way, but also represent the company in a certain way. And if you're at one of these private organizations as opposed to a public service organization, then you just have to capitulate.
And it makes me think, though, even in, say, private life, say I'm a gang member, and there's no way you could be at work in a customer service job at the front desk, and go home and gang bang. If you work for me, I'm probably going to fire you because I don't want your outside activity to come inside to work if you're dealing with the public. So I think there are certain criteria that might fit, but it just depends on if you just say, I don't like Michael Jackson, that ain't, that's a personal opinion. But if you're doing something that would jeopardize business, I think companies have a right to say, we don't want that image representing us, even if you're doing it at home, because it can spill into work, and we're liable for everyone. So we're just gonna eliminate the problem at all.
You know what would be interesting is we all remember the whole Colin Kaepernick thing, him taking a knee, right? And you saw what happened to him. They hurried up and got him out the league, and then he was kind of blackballed. He couldn't get back into the league. What if a player showed some type of say something positive about Charlie Kirk
Mm-hmm.
in the league? I did some type of statement
Mm-hmm.
in the league. Would they treat him the same way? Would
Fine line, because you got to think you're still an employee of the National Football League, regardless. You are an employee. So,
but now it starts to seem like, oh, you have my point of view, and so it's okay.
right? Is that I don't? But is that wrong? Is that wrong?
I think it's a
Yeah,
slippery slope. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a slippery
yeah.
slope. This is my company, and if you support me, of course there's perks to it. Why wouldn't it be? It's
Well,
I don't think that's legal, but I can see it happening.
yeah,
Everyone has to be treated equal. So if I can't say nothing bad, you really can't say it. Should be if I can't speak bad, you can't speak good. If we're entitled to our opinions, we're entitled to our opinions, good or bad. Now, if no one is entitled to an opinion, and that's understandable, but you can't have, like you say, someone say something positive and they're standing ovations, and I say something bad, and now I'm fired.
right.
And I think that's what the issue has been, and why there's some outrage about it, is it appears that it tends to depend on who you are, like, you know what I mean, and how, and like it's varying.
Right.
And so, like, do you keep that? You got to keep that same energy for these other things that have happened, right? And one of the things that it appears that there's not always the same energy kept,
Right.
and because this is a polarizing situation, you know, it's kind of like, yeah, okay, you say something about this, you're out of here, but somebody else who had something similar happen, who cares?
But like
Like,
say,
you know what I mean? It's not even like celebrated. We're not flying no half. The flag is not going half staff. We're not doing all of that for others. So I'm just saying,
Right.
oh
it
yeah,
appears to be.
it's their game. They play it how they want. They move the goalposts however they see fit to fit their narrative. That's a fact.
Mm, mm,
Yeah, but that's the scary part, because in the interim, what that really does is break down this so-called free speech,
Yeah.
because it's penalizing folks and scaring folks by using these sorts of tactics where you may not be employable, etc. By their standards, and
Right.
that's the scariest part about it.
Yeah.
One of my girlfriends, I was having a conversation and was saying, like, she would, even though you not supposed to be judged, you supposed to have free speech, this, that, and the other. But the truth of the matter is we are judged, and we really don't really have free speech.
no,
Yeah.
no,
That's
no.
that's a hard truth. That's and it, you know, I hate to say it is what it is, but that's really what it is. But and yeah, somebody put in the chat when we were talking about Bondi, yeah, Trump selected her as his US attorney general. Yeah, and that says a lot. So moving on, because even something that was said, I'm gonna come back to, but I'm gonna come back to it in another part because I have notes about something. Did you all know that this week, this third week in September, is considered National Singles Week.
Hmm.
They actually it's also known as Unmarried and Single Week, and it's to celebrate single people and their contributions. I see everybody smiling. Contributions to society. And the event was, believe it or not, it was established in the 1980s and is recognized by the U.S. Census Bureau, which began issuing acknowledgments and statistics in 2006. It serves to break down misconceptions about single people, highlighting that singlehood is a common and valid lifestyle choice. So, real quick, let's talk about that. Why do being single have such a bad stigma? Because I just actually, somebody sent me a video recently, and it was talking about, like, you know what, being single is actually, especially these days, is less drama, is, they gave me a whole bunch of reasons why being single is a good choice, and I don't disagree. So any comments on why being single is such a bad stigma?
I I think if in every aspect is bad because if you well I don't think it's bad being single. I say the reason it's a bad stigma is because if you think of biblically, God cares. We are to be fruitful. Economically, two incomes are better than one. Emotionally and health wise, it's a fact that people who are in love and hug every day are healthier. And I think for people with narrow minds, it kind of is a stigma like why you can't get someone. It looks like you can't do it just because you choose to do it.
I agree. No, I like that. Okay, Shelley.
You know, a little bit, a little bit.
No, that was good. That was good, because ultimately that's what it. Well, this is the men's talk. Troy, Rondi, you guys want to add to that?
I don't know. I think I don't know what these numbers are, but there's a lot of young folks. These young folks are really delaying marriage and sex and all these things. And I'm not so sure why it has a bad stigma to it or a bad name to it, but I think it's a lot of young folks who are just choosing um, their freedom.
Mm-hmm.
They're choosing to. Uh, they've seen all the messiness,
Mm-hmm.
you know. Uh,
That's it.
that show in your town, Tammy, Housewives of Atlanta. I don't know if it's who wants to be in someone, Um,
That's the messed up part though, because for us, all the shows we see is negative and chaos. So we are kind of, I guess, trained to believe that that's every person in every couple, and it's not even nowhere near the majority. It just is what we see. So everybody's like you said, why do I want to deal with that?
yeah, who wants it? No, no.
Yeah, I
Well,
can I
listen.
can
No,
go
go
ahead, go
ahead.
ahead.
No, go ahead, Troy.
No, I just want to say, like, I have to agree. Like, I mean, I think that's one of the things that makes it really difficult is that, like, you do get to see all of these things and how it doesn't appear to be working.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't appear to be working frequently enough. When we're looking at like of such high rates of divorce and things of that nature, it makes it really, really difficult for you to want to sign up for something that feels like a failing mission.
Mm-hmm.
If you are valuing yourself and you are valuing your inner peace, then it makes it a lot harder for you to then go out and try to have something, these solid relationships. And like I said, you just don't see too many of them anymore. There's not so many of them. There's a lot of infighting. There's a lot more like you know like it used to be that maybe you could supply your household with one income. But that's harder and harder to see nowadays, right? And it's harder, less and less valued. And like you were saying, Rondi, I mean, like, yeah, having that two household, or Shelly, having, two parent household, all that kind of stuff is great, right? That you could do a lot more with two than you can with one. This is absolutely, typically true. But also, like, if I got to come home and it feels like you're doing therapy at home, then you to some degree you're questioning yourself as to, like, is this a good investment? And so I think that's where some of it comes in.
And I think also what's scary about it is because they make it so bad, or they just show the negative part. We've been, I don't know if the proper term is desensitized to it, but like, I think back in the day, if you got into a fight with your mate, you didn't see all these fights everywhere. So it was just a normal fight. It was easier to make up. Now you see it so much. When you get in the smallest fight, it's like, see, that's just what I've seen. So people aren't as willing, I guess, to forgive and make, because they've already been conditioned that it's everywhere.
Right. And there are these other ways of being in a relationship that are starting to be in the mainstream. Polyamory. There's this thing. I forget something about monogamy. Not intelligent monogamy, but something. There's another word in front of it. Um, that folks are starting to explore. So folks are starting to explore uh, different types of relationships that haven't been in the mainstream, and so I think that adds to it as well.
Yeah.
I feel
That,
like a lot of that is more Americanized, though. Like,
yeah.
I feel like that's a lot more American culture than it is necessarily in other places, because people still value relationships and on a deeper level oftentimes in other places. Don't get me wrong. I know that, some of these places like Japan, it's like, dwindling as far as like their populations and stuff. But the reality of it is, like, we also I think the American culture is seeping into a lot of places, because things like this, you can see so much all over the world, and you're bombarded with negativity because that's what sells. And so, because of that, we don't really get to see all the positive relationships and all the fun things that folks are doing, and the fact that, hey, when I'm down, this person over here is picking me up. I will never say ever that, like, hey, a woman's not needed in my life. You won't hear me say that. Although I can be very independent, that does not mean that I don't need a woman, right? And that's a whole different thing. So, but I feel like that's what we are seeing, and so I think that that programming is definitely making it harder. And the other thing is these big ponds. Like, that people are feeling like, hey, because, and you may not even be like the greatest looking, or whatever, right? But you have so many options because the world is wide open. Since you have this internet, you can, the world is wide open to you. And then I think that also impacts the way in which we date, because it's like, oh, you know what, I don't feel like I'm being treated right. Everybody in the world wants me. Well, I mean, that's not really true, but it feels that way, because everybody's going to hit you and click, or DM you, and make you feel special today, right? So it's that illusion. And I think that's what it just is. I think it's just an illusion, to make you feel like you are, something that may not be real, real reality. I don't know.
No, no, that was good. That was good. And okay, let me see if I can share. It's some as you guys was talking, and I can't even remember which one it was, because I you guys all said some good stuff. But there was something that was, oh shoot, no, darn it, I can't get to it. I can't get to it. Dang, because it's not downloaded. But there's this clip that I had in my phone, a screenshot from years ago. It said two people, two incomes, one goal, and they have a ring, one home, and that's a house, zero debt, and they have a picture of a credit card, zero side pieces, and then they got a person with an X through it, equals money saved, and they put this the hand emoji up. I don't know if y'all can see my hand, because I think sometimes when I do that, they put the hand emoji. bills paid and they got money, house laid and they got furniture, romantic vacay, they got a palm tree, and they says pound gold. So um to that point, somebody said like, yeah, two people do make a difference, and it's easier to accomplish more when you have multiple people. But then sometimes again, you got to keep in mind the other aspect of the issues that can come up, like somebody put in the chat, it's a negative stigma because in a relationship can help keep you distracted from the work you should be doing internally.
Mm.
And think about it, because sometimes when people are supposed to be focused on some things, but they're in a relationship, especially if you with a needy person, God forbid, a needy person can be pulling a person away from, their vision, their goals, their dreams, their desires. So I think when you guys were even talking about like the younger people, yes, the statistics, but also they're probably focused on like, I want to accomplish what I'm here to accomplish and what I need to accomplish before, I that way I can focus on a relationship. So, and even older, some as we're older, we make that decision as well too. Like, I got some things that I need to do and I'm focused on. And before I bring somebody else in, let me accomplish this, because then you don't want that extra responsibility of tending to them when you're supposed to be tending to you, because that does become a distraction. But also in the chat, the person also added, I'm not investing in a stock that has a 50% chance of failure. And that's going back to what you were saying, Troy, because people can easily get out of a relationship. They don't go all in. And I feel if a person is going to be in a relationship, you got to go in and go all in. And if you fail, it's like, okay, you don't even look at it as a failure. Another lesson message from Outwitting the Devil: you failure and success are on the same frequency. It just depends on which way you're gonna look. So even if it fails, you still got to have the mindset that there's a success out of this. But people haven't been programmed to look at stuff that way. You know that's my 2 cents on it.
It goes back to the beginning of our conversation, completing the task, completing the things that are in front of you. You know, a lot of us just, we come to a roadblock or a stumble, and we stop. We let it go. And so I think our society makes it easy to not finish. And we're always kind of like this right now gratification. I need um, success at this very moment. I need it right now. I need to feel good about everything right here and now. Instead of, doing that work,
It's also
seeing it
expensive
all the way
though,
through.
right?
Yeah.
Like I mean, let's also be honest about that. Like like so many things have changed, because one of the things I like to talk to people about, as a reminder, is that we don't have the family structures that we had in the villages. Remember, it takes a village to raise a child, right? Remember that. We have to go back to thinking about that, because one of the things that happened is we no longer have a village. It's a very, 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 very fragmented village. Like I've said before, a lot of times we don't even like our parents and stuff anymore, right? And then like having so like when I'm thinking, okay, I want to have a child. I want to be, I want to adult. I want to have a child. I want to have a family, right? In order for me to be able to do that, that means not only do we have to deal with the normal day to days, we now also have to compete with the social media day to days. We also now have to also deal with the fact that, like, because they got you over here feeling like one way, they got me over here feeling like one way, and we got all of that going on. Then we got to think about how much it costs to actually be able to have a child and take care of a child and be there and be successful, right? Because I don't have the village. I don't have great big mama to come step in no more and help me with this. I don't have people who really want to do that around, that really want to help with that, right? So it's so much more of a commitment now than it's ever been, probably in some respects, because you just don't have a village. And at least before, you might have had some folks you could rely on that could help you. But nowadays, you know, most of our grandparents and folks that used to take on those roles, they still working too, because this rat race will keep you going. So because of
Mm.
our capitalism, it makes it really difficult for folks to ever just stop working, to actually rest, to actually sit it down. Uh-oh, sorry. So I think all of those things are also things that probably impact what we see, because it makes it so much harder. And so therefore, what folks are doing is they're saying, okay, let me be a super professional. Let me level up to a point where by the time I'm ready to have children, here we are in our 40s, and now we're looking to do it. And so you're doing it at later ages, if you do it at all, and unless you end up missing the mark. And sometimes people end up missing the mark. And so that's really what we're running up against. We're running up against a whole lot more geriatric pregnancies. No offense to nobody, but we definitely having way more like folks that are doing it at a later age, just because you know, everybody's trying to be a professional first. And hey, that's what we see. That's what's
Yeah.
happening.
Well, it's not quite geriatric pregnancy, is it, Joy?
Well, I mean,
I'm
okay.
just,
So we call pregnancies at 39, 40 and up geriatric pregnancies.
I didn't know that. Is that right?
I thought it
Yeah,
was 35.
yeah. Well, I mean, it depends on the context of the book, but the reality of it is, for sure, when you get to the 39 and up, you're definitely considered, because it's a lot more risky at that point.
Okay.
But you know what, as you guys are talking, what I'm thinking, think about it. I think this world, we are living thought forms. For people who never heard that term before, thought forms is basically living off of the thoughts or of others. Like, and I won't go too deep into it, but look it up. There's a term called thought forms. And the thought form was always, get married early, have, find the wife, the husband, get the house with the picket fence, the children, the dog, and what have you. And everything that you guys are saying, I feel to be true. Children, the up and coming generation, like, no, how about I live my life, I get my success, and then later in life, then I have my children. um Go ahead, Shelly. I saw your deep breath.
Finish, so I want you to forget, please. I won't
No,
forget.
no. That's what I was gonna say. And I'm gonna give you an example, another example of a thought form, real quick, off topic, but then we'll go back. Like, a thought form is wearing white after Labor Day. Who came up with that idea? Why can't a person wear white after Labor Day? Like, you got people still to this day cringe at the thought of wearing white after Labor Day. Why? That's why the man did the commercial. He's sitting on the beach like, why can't I wear white after Labor Day? Yeah, somebody put that thought into the heads of people. Look, going back to that mass hypnosis. So now you got people refusing to wear, well, they brought it in. They'll wear winter white. But white, they won't wear between Labor Day and Easter.
Mm.
look, Roddy thinking,
It lets me think, hey, who put the raisins in the potato salad? I don't I now who,
right. Another thought form. Who thought that was a good idea?
Yeah, who thought
It's so much you could think of. Is like, but I think it is part of, like, we are trained to, not trained, I hate using that word. We are
programmed
to feel and think certain ways that is that way. But as far as the geriatric pregnancy thing, that's biological. That's not a personal thing. Like, our bodies, women's bodies aren't as strong as when they was in their 20s. So it's not that it's bad. It's just a better time, if that makes sense. And I think they switched it because they want you working. They want your labor. So we know how to get everybody. We need 2 people taxed in one house, not just one anymore. Let's get everybody out there working.
Yeah, well, that's a sore subject. Um, yeah, because I heard they trying to get the kids working early on in life too, but I don't. I hear they trying to do something for that, but
Mm-hmm.
okay, so let's move on because we got a lot I want to try to get through. I came, Shelly, you and I talked Monday, and then all of a sudden my brain exploded with information. so so going back to the name we mentioned earlier, okay, and I'm for the record, I'm not here to talk for or against Charlie Kirk. Let's be clear, I'm not that, because no one has a right to end another person's life. But I do want to address distractions, aka forms of mass hypnosis that we just talked about last week. And the first distraction I want to address, to which my virtual pastor said, and I love how he said it, how did we get pulled? Oh, I'm sorry, I left out the fact that there was an attack, a threat on the HBCUs last week, right after that happened. Oh, which, Troy, that's what I was gonna say earlier when you was talking about the half mask. My understanding was, I know people put it out there that, oh, this happened to him and the flags were half mast, but I was also told that it was 9/11. That's why it was half mast. But that became a narrative, and people shift the narrative, so I don't know the truth of fact. I think the timing on that happened, I don't know. But going back to where I was going, the HBCUs get threatened last week, and my virtual pastor, who I like to listen to, said it this way: how did we get pulled into white on white crime? How did we get pulled into that? Because that's exactly what just happened. um like it blew my mind when, and I like the way he said that, but it blew my mind because it took me back to, back in the day when a crime happened. It was automatically, oh, I love everybody, so I'm not doing a race thing, but I'm just calling it the truth. Oh, a black man did it, a black man did it. And it, because you got to think, there was a time when certain crimes took place, we would be like, okay, well, we know it wasn't, our people who did it, like the DC sniper. I think all of America, Black America, was thrown off on that.
Hey, I felt deceived around here.
Right. Yeah. We have to double take on that one. Like we were all like praying, oh, I know it ain't that. I know it ain't that. And it came back and I said, oh Lord, good Lord. What you had Uncle Ruckus coming out,
And his son.
Exactly. He messed
But
us
I
up.
think
He
with,
messed us
like
up.
what
We was
Tammy was
like,
saying though, I don't know why we concern ourselves so much with their issues. I don't know how we like. That was one thing I had even posted. I said, since when? Why are we so worried about what they doing over there? That ain't got nothing to do with us. It what the speech wasn't for us. The event wasn't for us. The killing wasn't by us. The news didn't care about us. Why do we care? I don't understand why we care so much. Because it was friends arguing and the division in homes over that. And I, like, me and my son, we didn't argue, but we argued because I have so many clips of him with black organizations praising blacks. And my son, I pulled out 1 million of him talking, saying bad things. And it's like, before we got into it, I said, why do we care? What is me and you talking about this for? And in Colorado, we just had that school shooting the same day. I said, they ain't said a word about it at what's happening at home. So I don't know why we care. Why do we?
I think we care because it impacts us in the sense that, when these narratives come out, we remain boogeyman whether we like it or not. And the thing is, whether we have anything to do with it or not, the reality of it is we have something to do with it. That's how it is portrayed. And I think that's why, you see us always on the defense, because no matter what it is, there's a way of spending it back to the black skin. And I think that's the saddest part around about it, like, because you know, most of us would have guessed from the beginning, oh, this ain't got nothing to do with us, before we even knew who did what. We all like, because this ain't the kind of stuff that I mean, we had this one example we just talked about of us doing that kind of, anybody that looked like us doing that kind of crime. Like, we don't have very many of those. We are like a 0.1%,
Mm-hmm.
and like 20+%, or matter of fact, maybe more. We know what it is. So the reality of it is, we know what most of this type of stuff, where it's coming from. But the fact is, no matter how you look at it, it comes back to fall in our laps, whether we had anything to do with it or not. The fact that you're able to spin it and make it sound like this is something that, like, we had something to do with it, and this is constant. This is a constant narrative. No matter what it is, it's trying to, let's find a way to pin it back to these people who have absolutely nothing to do with
But
any of
that's
it.
because they know we're gonna get involved and it ain't our business. They like, oh, they gonna want to know, because honestly, everyone I talked to, I said, how many of you guys even knew he was having an event? No one
First of
even.
all, no, Shirley, hold on. Ask this question: how many knew who he
Who he
was?
was.
Yeah, ask that one, because I didn't even know who he was
I
until
did.
this happened.
And so it's like, y'all, we just. So that's why they spin it back to us, because they're like, oh, they want to be involved. So let's give them what they want.
I think they spin it back to us because I think at the end of the day, once again, I think they just want to put it on our shoulders. And that's what America likes. They like here's the real reality. Ain't nobody ever taking accountability for actions,
Mm-hmm.
right? You said something about white on white crime. You've never heard such. And you never will, because there needs to be somebody else to put that on. And so the onus is never going to be on the people who are actually doing it. We've talked more about about like this whole back and forth about saying anything bad than we've talked about the actual person that actually did the crime. We're not talking about that at all. You're not even hearing that in the narrative.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I mean. Like, all of these folks get scapegoated, and we can name how many examples of that. These folks are never really like held to the same standard at all, and it's always a scapegoat. It's always a way like of like, let's talk about this other thing. Let's not talk about all this talk we were doing and making it sound like it was these other people. This is one of your own. Like,
Let me ask you this though. Now that if you just think about it, if you want to go down that rabbit hole, are they wrong for that? Like their job is to preserve themselves. It's self-preservation in every case. So what would make us think they're gonna do something different? We're the only ones that don't preserve, like fight for each other. If we preserved ourselves, we'd be all right too. But we hang them out to dry, and we hang us out to dry, and they hanging us out to dry. So everybody just like, I
out the
don't like
dry.
it, but I don't think they're wrong. That's what they're supposed to do. Why would they not? Like, if my brother did something, whether he was right or wrong, I'm like, he didn't do it. No, he probably found guilty in court. I'm like, they up to something. I'm gonna always ride with my people, but we don't do that. So
Yeah. So, Shelley, you asked that, like, why are we talking about them? And it definitely affects us. I wore this hat earlier today. My daughter went to Spelman, and she's not there anymore. But I'm still. I don't know if you guys know anything about Spelman, but it's an all black women's college, and my daughter's been gone for years now, and I still get alerts on my phone when they shut that campus down. And I got the alert the other day, and I was like, I had to put two and two together. Like, oh my God, someone is threatening those young women on that campus. So if you're a father or a mom, who your daughter is far away from you, it's affecting you. That is definitely affecting you, and so yeah, these things definitely affect us. Um, and I wish we didn't give them so much energy.
Mhm.
I really wish we didn't give it energy, but we kind of perpetuate it in a way. Um, Hopefully, we'll keep learning,
I
keep
mean, I
learning.
think on the other hand, though, these are also potentially real threats.
Mhm.
So I think that's the bigger piece for me. Like,
Mhm.
I would love to just put my head in the sand and act like I ain't hearing nothing.
Mhm.
That's the reality. Because you think I really want to care? I don't. I got better things to do with my time. But the reality of it is, I also realize that some of these threats can be real, and they could be real detrimental and consequential to not just me but my people. And so I think this is the real reason why we have to, although we don't really want to. It's not my thing to follow these politics. Quite frankly, at this point in life, I had gotten in, and then I was kind of like, this is toxic, and it takes too much out of me. But what I realize is whether I like it or not, these things are still being perpetuated, and they're going forward. And these things can have, like, I mean, potentially that could have been a really bad situation for the people on those campuses.
Mhm.
And these, mind you, once again, we've never had any kind of no violent acts of that nature ever on these campuses, from people that look like us. So the reality of it is, it's kind of like it's interesting that we even have to think like that, but like these threats are real on our lives, and I think that's the scariest part about all of it is our lives are truly being threatened, and that's why we can't just be like, oh, okay, well, this is let me just let this go or let that go. We try, but at some point, somebody might be crazy enough to actually, you know, take this to fruition. And,
Right.
and and so then what? Like, so it's unfortunate, but like we always have to be like, on the defense, because trust and believe anything that happens, they're gonna blame us. And Shelly, I mean, I get where you're coming from. It's a survival tactic. I understand that. And it's one that's been used throughout our history of being here. This is
Mhm.
always what it's been. That's why I said what I said at the very beginning. This is always this country is working exactly how it was meant to be working. And as a matter of fact, the reason why this is so interesting right now is because folks are just even more comfortable with being able to say what we already knew.
Right.
That's it.
Right. Good stuff, guys. Good stuff. And somebody put in the chat, more Gen Zs knew him because he's done many events on college campuses. The younger generation, however, didn't like his comments regarding some facts of our race.
Mhm.
So yeah, again, could care less. I just think, oh, that was not right. But I'm just, it's a distraction. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. I'm not. I'm he has, and that's why I said I'm not even talking about him tonight. I'm talking about the distractions. So, and when I say the distractions, like another part of this is the ongoing debate as to whether or not he was assassinated or murdered.
Mhm.
What? Why? When do folks wake up and stay awake to the distractions that are taking place? Because that's all that is. Like, why are we debating that? That's, and then the third, the fact that he didn't believe in empathy, but now folks are pushing for people to have empathy for him. And again, I'm just talking the facts right now. Any thoughts on that? Like, so they there's a distraction of the type how it should be labeled. Like, why does that matter? I guess that's what I'm trying to understand. And then who cares if, why are you trying to push people to be empathetic if they're choosing not to? Because I think these become choices. And going back to the thought forms that I'm talking about, if people have thoughts of how you should act, then you taking away a person's free will. Any thoughts or comments?
I wonder if it's people take it too personal, because if someone says you should be empathetic, that's just their opinion. That doesn't mean you have to do it. They're not going to come to your job or to your house, and there's no empathy police. So I think people just take everything so personal. Like, no matter what you say about them, if they don't like it, they're offended beyond belief, and someone needs to do something about it. So I think people just take it too personal.
I think you've just seen a lot of real, like, whether it be real or fake outrage over these types of things. And I just
Mhm.
don't think, like, I think that's the part, like you said, I think at the end of the day, it is somewhat a distraction. But I think it's also just emblematic of kind of showing your true colors. Like, I mean, it's interesting how it's being, people are getting into so much trouble for just having conversations, and having an opinion, whether you like it or not. And so I don't think that, like, you know, it doesn't matter one way or another. I mean, everybody's entitled to one, and you should
Mhm.
be able to be a free thinker and think for yourself. I can say, speech has never been but so free, because you can have a free speech, but there are consequences to that speech. But I think, on the other hand, though, the way in which this one tends to be moving is different. I think this is different. This is not like your typical. We've had plenty of people who, throughout this times, who've been into trouble for one thing or another, or have said things that were, everybody didn't agree with. I think that the fact that this guy is being, held up in the way that he is, and then there's so many consequences for you speaking out about, a person that's kind of polarizing. uh,
Mhm.
I think that's the interesting part about it, and I think that, like, and there has been some heavy consequences. I mean, we were, just looking, and you see, Jimmy Kimball is being, canceled right now. So, yeah, so, like, like, there's some real consequences to
Jimmy Kimmel's
this.
being
I
Yeah,
canceled.
yeah,
what?
yeah, yeah,
But he
yeah.
said
It popped
something
up in
they
my
didn't
feed.
like.
Yeah, he was talking about this matter. And so you got to also think that, like, one of the things that we, don't talk about, but we should also look at is, I mean, the other reason why this stuff is so heavy is because the media companies that own a lot of these, platforms, are taking it heavily. They're being very punitive in the way in which they're, you know, working these things. And so all of this stuff is just giving, folks more and more power. And I think that's really what it boils down to. This free speech is going to get broken down in some ways in which we haven't seen in a long time, probably never in my lifetime, if this continues.
Wow. I'm speechless. That's why I keep saying over and over. I respectfully, yeah. Somebody just put in the chat, Delta Airlines fired 9 people for their comments regarding this. And this is crazy. This is crazy. But um anyways, let's shift gears, because this, like I said, I feel distraction, and and it's sad people have to put filters, but we just be mindful. And I feel also too, if we start focusing on our inner being and our higher consciousness, I think we'll be in a much better place. Look, I like, almost like you said, Troy, stick your head in the sand for a minute, even if it's just for a minute, because to take yourself away from this, because this is crazy. It's a lot going on. But I'm going to shift gears. um since I can't seem to share this downloaded photo, I want to read it to you guys, and then I want to play a clip of a video that was shared with me. Uh, so it says, never date a woman who doesn't allow visitation because and they put in parentheses, the baby daddy doesn't pay child support. It means the money, and they put all these symbols for money, comes before the child. Um, and I'm going to play this video that has been tabled for a couple months, because we had a whole lot of other stuff that we can talk about. And before I do that, I want to also read this that I put up on Facebook yesterday. This was actually something that I would love to show you guys the picture, because the first picture is a man and a woman with a child in the middle tugging on the child, and it says baby mama. A female who is mad at the fact that she can't have you back, so she becomes spiteful, jealous, and crazy. She tries to make your life and all relationships a living hell and will do anything she can to make your relationship with the child slash children difficult every chance she gets. A baby mama does not care if she hurts the child slash children in the process of hurting you. Then there's another picture. Again, I really wanted to show you guys this, but it's not giving me the option to share it. Of a man and a woman walking with a child in the middle, each side holding the child's hand. And it says, the mother of your child. A woman that knows the relationship you had is over and there is no hard feelings. She works with you, compromises, and stays consistent so that both of you have a lasting and healthy relationship with the child slash children. A real mother will get along with you for the sake of the children. And I wanted to read that because I like that fixing up of that. Now, I'm going to play this video that was suggested to me that we have a conversation on. So I hope this works. I'm not going to play all of it because it's a long video, but I want to just give you the meat of it. Here we go.
And child support. In this particular story, this man that was paying child support got locked up. But I want you to hear the response of, the mother, of his child about seeing him locked up for child support.
Okay, so they locked my baby daddy up for child support, my oldest. I was so mad. I went to court and they had him in. Well, let me tell y'all from the beginning. So I went to the courtroom and I sat down. And the bailiff came running over and he was like, you can't sit there, you can't sit there. And I was like, why? And he was like, all the men on this side, all the females on this side. And I started looking around the courtroom like, God dang. So they separate the females and the males. And I thought that was strange. And I just thought it was strange. So while I was sitting there waiting for them to call my name, I was matching this man with this woman, just, biding my time. So when they called my name and my baby daddy name, they brought him out in an orange jumpsuit and handcuffs and shackles. And that pissed me off even more. I was so mad. I told Your Honor, I let her say what she was going to say. Then I was like, Your Honor, I want all child support struck. I want current, arrears, and future struck today. And the whole courtroom went crazy. It was just like everybody was talking. She had to hit the gavel and she was like, boom, boom, boom. And then she was like, do you understand what you're saying? And I was like, yes. And so they took me outside the courtroom. They have two rooms on either side of the hallway, right after, as soon as you go out the courtroom. So they brought me in there. And I was sitting there for a long time. The bailiff came in and he was like, is anybody making you feel uncomfortable? Or is anybody threatening you? Or do you feel like, you're under duress to do this? And I was like, no. My daughter loves her daddy. And y'all not keeping him. I want him out of there today. And I want all child support struck. So he left back out. He came back.
Okay, let me go ahead and give her a hand clap on that. Let me go ahead and do that. Let me tell you why. Because listen what she said. My daughter loves her daddy. I want to repeat that again. My daughter loves her daddy. What good is her father being locked up in county? How do you collect child support if he's locked up in county? How? All this throwing somebody in jail for child support it's stupid. It don't make sense. What if something happened to him in county? Because people lose their life in county too, not just prison. It happens in county. You know what I'm saying? You put him in there for child. And listen, as a man who paid child support, right?
I'm going to stop it right there. All right. Any thoughts or comments on that?
I think I'm gonna speak on that because I think she is 100% correct because majority of child support that goes through the state, all of it doesn't go to the mother. The state makes a profit off your child support, so that's why they enforce it. Two, like she said, what, and everybody's saying, what good is the father if he's not present? Now, I think if you got a child's father that doesn't participate, in any aspect, then you got to do what you got to do. But if he's around and there and supportive of the child, the money shouldn't be an issue. I mean, it's an issue, but it should be another way for him to, I don't know, do some community service or something. But it definitely, the money has nothing to do with the child and the father having a relationship.
That's a great point, Shelley. And I just think she saw behind the curtain. She saw what was really happening, and and she weighed it out. Like, look, uh, 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 this situation is only going to get worse. If he stays in jail, it's only going to get worse. He's going to get even further and further and further behind. And she was like, you know what? I can probably work it out with him outside of this. Outside of this. And I think she just weighed it out and made the best decision for her family, for 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 the three of them, especially for the child, you know. Um, Especially the fact that the child and the dad had a relationship, and she was like, she loves her dad. She doesn't want to take that away from her daughter, and I commend that. That's beautiful.
Yeah, I'd say I think that's the biggest piece for me is being able to see something like positive sometimes when it comes to this, and people actually being able to. Yeah, I get it. Every single situation is going to be different. Everybody's going to have a different situation for themselves, and they got different, things that they have to do. I don't think this is for everybody, but I do think that like there are a lot more of these that should be happening where we're going at it the wrong way and maybe not like doing what's in the best interest of the child. And I think that that's the bigger piece is like putting the child first, and making sure that the child has what's needed. Because here's the thing, she's probably holding it down at home anyway, financially and stuff like that. Because he wasn't able to pay, she was holding it down anyway. So his biggest contribution is actually his time spent with his daughter. Like, and so if that's the case, I think there are some workarounds and ways maybe to work around that. And I don't think that people should have to do it all on their own because you didn't create them all on your own, right? But at the same time, I do think that there's some maybe some sometimes where we can work around some things and not have that system involvement. And it's probably better for everyone involved. And I just commended her for what she was, trying to do in this situation in good faith. And like, once again, she was holding it down anyway. So that loss of potential income at some point in life, is it going to matter that much? I'm not sure, but like it's not going to matter today because she was already paying for the bills, whatever she was taking care of. She was taking care of anyway. So yeah, that's what this is, to me. That's the conversation, is like being able to also see like some positive, because I don't think people get to see that too often. You
Mm-hmm.
don't see that too often where a person stands up, and that's why I think it was such a big deal, like with her being, standing up and doing this in the courtroom, and people are like, to the point where you're having to hit the gavel because there's other guys over there like, I'm over here too, like,
Mm-hmm.
because you just don't see it too often. It's more like, hey, let's see how we can uh, um, take out as much as we can, or get what we can get, extract as much as we can extract. And the reality of it is that's another thing. We go back and look at our families nowadays and our family structures. You just don't have it like that. You know what I mean? Like, and so it costs so much just for living. Rhonda and I, live in a very expensive area, and so when you start looking at like what it costs just to be there, the reality of it is this makes it really, really difficult for you to be able to, like, if you had to go outside, if I got a child outside and I'm paying child support plus trying to take care of the just basic expenses for myself, it can be a challenge. And so I think that, like, all of these things are just things to think about. But at the same time, I also want to say, if you create them, take care of them.
Mm.
You're man enough to create it. Be man enough to try to work it out and take care of it in ways that you can. So
I think that's a given, but I think in a lot of situations too, if the man is struggling for whatever reason, if he hasn't been able to pay it, what is child support going to do but put him more in debt? Like why would you do that as a mother, or even as a court system? If he's already struggling to whatever reason, he might be able-bodied, then why would a woman be like, he's already hurting, he's living with his mom or whatever. I'm finna just really put a couple more piles of dirt over him and put child support on him. He can't even take care of himself.
But now, definitely men's talk, but since we're talking about this issue, a woman has to be a part of this conversation. But even still, though, he still needs to contribute something. He does. Now, I don't agree with the suspending of the driver's license and putting them in jail, because just like everything y'all just said, they're going to go further into that child support hole the more that they're there. Because if they're in jail, then they can't collect any income. How they gonna pay child support? But then the payment number doesn't go stop until they get out. It's not like, okay, well, while you locked up, we not gonna accumulate no more child support. Then when you get out, then we'll resume it. It does not work that way. So I don't think that should be the option. However, even if a person is down, he's still, I don't, this gonna sound mean and no disrespect to nobody, go work at a day laborer job, go do something, just help your child. That's my point of view, because just as Troy just said, the child wasn't created by just the one person, it was created by both. So even if she is holding it down far too long, women have had to hold it down when a lot of guys have gotten off scot-free. Now I read that that distinguishing between a baby mama and a baby and a mother of a child, but that can also be flipped to men as well, not stepping up as well. So I do commend her for doing that. However, men also got to do their part also and not put it all on the mother.
So let me ask you this. As far as helping, he needs to contribute something, even if it's go get a day labor job. At what point is the line drawn between what a man needs to take care of himself, basics, whatever it may be, the basic food, water, Goodwill clothes on your back, whatever it is. At what point does the child come before his needs? One. And two, if women want to always say it takes two to make it and I didn't make it by itself, then why a woman can choose to abort a baby, so why a man can't choose to not take care of a baby? Because the man can't tell her she has to keep it, and the man can't tell her she has to abort it. That's a decision she makes solely on her own. So why can't, at what point does the man get to make a decision about what he wants about his life?
Well, see, that's where you got those case by case basis. And you know what? To your point, let me share this story. It's so interesting that you just put that scenario on the table, because somebody actually shared a story with me recently, that a chick asked, she wanted a child. So I guess going to what you just said, Shelly, she wanted a child, and she asked a close friend of hers. This person was a good friend of hers, to impregnate her because she really wanted a child. And then she did use the tactic, told him he would not have any responsibilities with the child, because I think the person was either married or in another relationship or something. And needless to say, once the child was born, now he's on child support. So now in a situation like that, everything you just said, I feel applies. That's that situation. But the reality is, I guess that's a case by case question, Shelley, because we don't know if there was a conversation about not birthing the child or something like that. We don't know. Things could have been good, and they was like, okay, I want this child as much as you do, and then life happens, because we know life goes to life in. So that's kind of a generic question, a broad question. That's what I'm gonna say. That's a broad question.
It is case by case, but just speaking general and for the sake of the conversation, you know, it's a different story. You know, every coin has two sides. So I think, like you said, it is a case by case, and it should be handled case by case. But unfortunately, it's not. Women have the majority of the wins in court and the say so, and if most time when it's custody hearing, the woman gets majority of the time, regardless. So it's not fair for men from the gate.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I Go ahead. Go ahead. Let me say this. Somebody put in the chat, fathers and children's lives are extremely important. So many children have missed out from a bond that is special and unique. And I agree with that, especially when you have ooh, ladies. Look, there's a saying, you can't say amen, say ouch. Know this, children are not pawns. They're not to be held up from the love and the bonding that was just mentioned, because whatever the personal reasons are. I feel as long as a father wants to be in a child's life and is not a threat to the child or have the child in danger, I feel they should be, because as a person who has witnessed time and time again, and not even in my life, in the lives of many others that I know good men that wanted access to their children, but the baby mama kept him from gaining access, for whatever reason, which I had always came to the conclusion a long time ago, there's some unresolved feelings in this situation. So, and then you have the men who don't want anything to do with the child. They'll try to throw the child down the man's throat. They'll force him to be try to force him to be in that child's life. So I just feel that's a whole energy that needs to be cleaned up. I feel, people got to take more accountability and responsibility for the children being even conceived. Like, be responsible with that. Now, I do know sometimes even the most responsibility slip ups happen. Condoms have been known to pop and all kind of stuff like that. I understand all that. However, I just think, if a child isn't born, everything should be about the best interest of the child. That's why we have a lot of emotional baggage. You have a lot of children feeling their parents didn't want them because of whatever reason, especially when a child is with, a father is X out of a child's life. In fact, I think even on a work chat just today, a guy, it was in a prayer group, he was saying to pray for his wife that, her at 2 years old, her parents got a divorce. Now, this is the flip side. The mother walked away and had no contact with the children. And that was an emotional baggage on them. So it's so many different scenarios, but at the same time, it's time to clean these things up, because I feel those are things that are going to help bring the family structures back together. I digress. Any comments or questions?
I don't know. I just think the system is it's hard to regulate this whole thing. What do you do? These moms need help. Right? Moms need help, and it's tough for the fathers. And I, I I think the best deal is try to take care of it out of the courts. If you can take care of it outside of the courts, then you're winning.
Because I heard a lot of guys say that they'll give more if you keep the courts out of it. But right. Go ahead, Shelly.
No, I was going to agree with Randy 100%. It definitely should be out of the courts 1,000%, because I personally just don't believe in someone else having authority over your family or what's best for you. But then sometimes it is needed. it is needed, but
Mm-hmm.
it should really be a case by case decision. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And it's just crazy because I know I've been on both sides, so it's crazy.
And that's the biggest acknowledgement. We know in some cases it's needed, but it will help tremendously if people really try to work it out, because there, that emotional support, I promise you, I understand the financial support, because even as I just said, that my understanding, like the percentage that they put on the father, he could have other children and they really don't even care.
Mm-hmm.
They don't care. Like it's like if they're saying, okay, this one child gets 40% of your income, but then he have 2 or 3 other child so you're not gonna even try to split that up between them. It's like I think it's designed for failure.
It is. And how a child get 40% of your income?
Or what about the guys who did not sign up? Like they signed up to be, they're a dad. Think I'm this is my child and it's not my child, and I'm still on the hook for this child support for a child that's not even my child, and there's no back pay to me for all the work and time and effort and sweat that I put in. There's none of that. Like there's nothing for that. You still have to continue as if this was your child because hey, I was duped into thinking so. And I mean, for all intents and purposes, I know that'll piss people off, but for all intents and purposes, yeah, maybe it is my child because I'm the one that raised them or has been thus far. However, it still hits different when you find out that all this time I'm a fraud because I thought I was living this and I'm not. So I think that like that whole child support game is something that we need to, as a whole needs to be reevaluated in the way in which it go, we have it. And I think you're right, Tammy, in the sense that I also think that we also have to figure out how can we, as a people, make better decisions. How can we make better decisions about the people we choose to have children with, and really like thinking forward as to what that's going to look like. If it was toxic before, it's going to probably be toxic after. It's not going to change, and these are conversations I've had with a lot of close people to me. Like the reality of it is whatever you jumped into at the beginning is probably going to be more of that. If you got Playboy going to play. So it's just, it is what it is. Like, you know what I'm saying? You got them, but you're going to share them. It is what it is. So knowing that, you knew this from the beginning.
I wonder if that's why they don't make male birth control. Because they can. I mean, no, think about it. Women could have women got 8, 9 forms of birth control. Men only have 2, a condom or a vasectomy. Yeah. And so it's like, is it built to keep us down or in the system, or find like it has to be? It's something else. It's something else behind the line, because I know they have a way to make a male pill or shot or something just like they have for females, but they don't. So I wonder if all this is by design.
I don't know. We just probably need more women doctors, more women scientists, and they'll come up with something.
Trust me, they have it. They're just not going to release it.
Yeah.
That's a good question, though, Shelly. That really is, because we have a whole lot of options.
Yeah, and you guys had a right to terminate. You had a right to keep. You had a right to put a man on
that right to
support.
terminate ain't really a right these days, but
but you guys have a right to put a man on child support. You guys have all the rights when it comes to kids, and the man has not zero, but his options are far less than yours. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Dang it, I had a whole thought and it's on blew past me. But no, this is good stuff. This is good stuff. Okay, so I got one more video I want to play. I hope this come up right. I want to play this video. Okay. Let's see.
I'm a recovering thug addict. Okay, and it is very hard to stop doing something cold turkey that you've become addicted to.
Stop it. Get some help.
Right? So I no longer date thugs. I'm dating squares now.
Okay.
So when you're talking to me, do me a favor and put a little bass in your voice.
Know your damn role and shut your damn mouth.
Like, be mean. Not mean for real, but mean just to please me in the moment. You get what I'm saying?
You can't make this shit up, people.
Like, I need you to sound really assertive, like you mean it. Like role play a little bit.
Don't you ever talk to me like that again.
Now, don't go upside my head, but say things like, let's say you tell me to do something and I don't do it as fast. Be like, what I say? Tell me to shut the up.
Ain't nobody trying to hear that bullshit, man.
Tell me to go sit down somewhere.
Man, sit your ass down.
Like, when you say something to me, pretend like, you feel me? Because I be having withdrawals and I be like, he's too nice.
You're scratching all the time. You can't sit still.
And another thing, like, I know that you like to dress nice and wear these dry fit shirts. Can you put on a black hoodie? Can you sag your pants a little bit? I know you like to smell good, but can you spray the smell of a black and mild every now and then? Just need a whiff. As a recovering thug addict, if I ask you to do any of the things that you have heard in this video, please do it, brother. Please help me. Help me scratch this itch.
Hell no, nigga.
Please. Thank you. Now call me crazy.
The toxicity is high.
Listen,
the toxicity is high.
I was gonna say that, but I do not like that term because thug dudes is different from square dudes, and women, that's what they prefer. And I don't think it's toxic. I think that's just a woman likes the security of knowing, yeah. But that was such a true stereotype. It was just too funny. It was just too funny. I know women is like, I only like them if they like that. Like 8 out of the 10 women I know is like, I only like them if they thugs. And you can't think when she says thug, someone is stealing and robbing and stuff like that. Just the mentality of a street dude is different than the mentality of a corporate dude.
I think you want assertiveness, and I think that's really what it is. A woman want to feel secure, and she wants somebody that's going to talk to her and be assertive. It's not necessarily like they don't have to necessarily be aggressive, but be assertive. Be very fond, like very, very sure of yourself when you talk. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's really what it boils down to. And I think that's what women respect. They don't respect softness. They don't respect that man is crying and all that. They don't respect that. Like, so what the reality of it is, I think that's just kind of what it is. Like, and it's not necessarily, like you said, it don't have to necessarily be a thug, but I think what they really want to hear is like, ha, like, hey, ha, I could play games, but at the same time, you know what I'm saying? Like, no, that ain't gonna fly. We ain't going that direction. I'm gonna need you to calm down. I'm gonna need you to sit down. I'm gonna need, you know what I mean? Like they unfortunately, fortunately or unfortunately, and that ain't in everybody. You know what I'm saying? That ain't in everybody. Like, and I believe, like,
over.
Yeah, they don't want to push over. Hey, Rodney, how you do it when you the chocolate Buddha? Hey, look, you gotta teach us how to do it as the chocolate Buddha.
Rodney,
I bet you do something slick to him, bro. How you do it? Like,
he played that guitar for him. Hey, they straightened right up.
No, he sang to him and he say, "Close the door."
And then get aggressive and say, "Turn them off."
Turn them off. Right? I don't need no 50-50 love. I'm talking about that 90-10. When you give 90, I give 10. Nah, look, this just makes me think that the expectation is too great. If it just stopped there, if you said, "Hey, I want Thuglicious. That's what I want." Cool, but you want more than Thuglicious. You want a dude who dressed that way, all what the thug is, but also got his own business or maybe a corporate job, right?
Mhm.
You want him to take you on vacations and do all those things. You want him to have this type of ride. You want him to have that that thong. You want him to have that thing, right? The expectation is too great. The expectation is too great. She's only now. I don't think she's talking about just having a dude talk that way to her. I think she's asking for much more. That's just the part that she said. But I think she's asking for a lot more because because she can find a thug anywhere, and I believe a thug would be like, all right, you cool, I give you what you want, but she wants much more than just that, and that's my problem.
I think she's also saying that the thug ain't meeting the square isn't meeting those thugs' characteristics. I think that's really what she's really saying. Cause yeah,
And she's right.
Yeah, right now the stereotypical person is almost like a metrosexual, right? That tends to be the way that what is becoming most attractive. Someone who maybe goes to a bar with his book, has a glass of wine, you know, uh, able to talk about women topics, probably has an Audre Lorde book,
But I think that's why she said that, because the narrative they push now is that type of male, the metrosexual, or the got his stuff together, and the women who are used to thugs, they missing that. Yeah, so videos like that are far and few in between, but it's just the last of, I always say it's just the last of a dying breed.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I said the toxicity was high, right? And I understand why, the reason I said that is because when you add all, you calculate it and you do the math, as Rodney was over here, the math ain't math, and it is a lot. It's a lot of unsaid in that and what's being said. And so I think it becomes a fairly rocky situation because you're being asked to do a whole lot more than you want to, and likely.
Yeah, and it's upbringing. It's upbringing. Because if you were raised that way, that's just what you're used to. And I know me or my friends say this a lot. Like, if I date a square chick, I'm probably gonna run over her. So I need kind of a hood chick that's gonna keep me in line. And if they call that toxicity, then I guess I just love toxic. But if you just gonna yes me, I'm be like, all right, is that easy?
Shelly, don't let your secrets out, player.
I know, but that just be the truth in life, though. Like, if you grew up in that environment, that's what you're used to, so that's what you want. If you grew up in what they say, some people are raised in love and some are raised in survival. The ones that are raised in survival need and like that to feel comfortable. The ones that were raised in love need that soft, man that's gonna cater to them.
I think even them, though, even those folks want a little direction. I think
they want it till
folks,
they get it, and then they're whoa, this ain't what I thought it was. It comes with
I don't think they want necessarily the whole thing she got. She looking for somebody with a ski mask and some gloves on. You know what I'm saying? She looking for the robber. That might not be it, but I think they want a little bit of that. You know what I mean? Because honestly, man, I see it a lot, man. Sometimes people like to be checked. We all do. Everybody need a little something. Sometimes you need a little pushback. You all need a little pushback here and there, and I think it kind of helps to balance it out. It can't always be like you said. Yes. We got to have a little pushback sometimes because that help you to find out where that line is. You know what I mean? And so you don't end up being a habitual line stepper because I habitually line stepper get loud. But if you like, no, let me tell you something. Come home late like this again and see how that go for you.
Okay. Yeah, they need to know that you care. That's how you show them you care.
Yeah. And that might be a little toxic, but no,
even Jill Scott said it. Jill Scott said if he could tell me what to do, then he could tell me what to do.
Well, okay, hold on. Let me interject this. It's funny you just said that, Shelly, because somebody put in the chat, you can tell me what to do if you can tell me what to do. But you can't tell me what to do if, and they put in caps, you can't tell me what to do. Okay? So.
Hey, period.
I mean, you got to have some direction. Right? But that's what we were talking about earlier, full circle. This is why you got to have some direction, right? Because in order for you to be to pretend or be a leader, you got to be a leader. Yeah. You can't be like a half-ass leader. You either a real leader or you're not. So in order for you to be able to run your household, you got to be able to have, and that don't mean you got to like go in with an iron fist or something. But at the end of the day, like in order for somebody to feel like you can lead them, you got to move like a leader. And if you're not moving like a leader with no leadership in you, then guess what? You can't lead. And that's exactly what it is. So I think that's what they look at. It's like, oh, you can't come out here and be so soft, because a real one out here is gonna be a little bit on it. Even the CEO, he had to cut a few folks. And so at the end of the day, it's like, yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, I like you and everything, but I'm gonna have to let you go. I know you got a family to take care of and everything. I'm sorry, but this ain't working out for you. It is what it is, you know what I'm saying? And so they come with a little bit of some, you in order to be a leader, you got to be a leader. You got to have some leadership qualities.
You got to make them tough decisions.
I think that's what it boils down to. We can make them together, but sometimes it's going to be like, nah, this what we ain't going to do.
Yeah.
You got to stand on business. And I think that's that's all they want. They just want to feel secure, that you're going to be secure enough to be able to, hey, look, when you get a little rocky and you don't know which way you're going, let me help you straighten this up. Let me tell you what we gonna do. That's it.
Troy, your pimp hand looks strong, boy.
Hey, he put it out there about 3 times.
Strong,
and demonstrated it twice.
Y'all funny. Listen. Nah, man. No, that's leadership. Let's go leadership.
However you label it.
Yeah. Fall in line.
He let him, and shook it like don't make me ball this.
Never. Is Wayne Brady gonna have to smack him?
We are clowning tonight.
It gets like that sometimes.
Oh my God.
I'm just saying, the assertiveness has to show up, because like the funny thing is, like, people, and I know this because I've been out in these streets. People will look at you because no, not like that, but because you come out and you're like really charismatic and fun and loving, people just tend to think like, hey, you always like that. No. There's some things you gotta be serious about. Everything ain't laughing and kiki. Sometimes like, nah, we're not doing that. That's not what's gonna happen today. Like, not in this house, not with this guy. This is not how this is gonna run. So I mean, like, that's just what it is. And like it or not, doors that way. Enjoy yourself. But like, I think sometimes those are the conversations we have to have, and I don't think it's necessarily totally toxic, but I think women like real men.
I was in here thinking, would a real man stand up? It's so funny that you just said that. That's exactly what was in my head. That's funny. And then as I'm also thinking, I have a to that square versus the thug. I have a friend, a girlfriend who is like, yeah, especially like in bed, she's like, oh, a man can disrespect me all day long. So I guess that thug versus the square. Don't be a square in bed, thug up then. Bring what Pac say, that thug mentality, bring that. But good stuff, y'all. Good stuff.
And it's funny you said that, because I was talking to my daughter and she likes thugs, and she says because of the bedroom.
Thug passion?
Right? Huh?
Thug passion? No, go ahead.
And I told her, I said, you got to remember, the thug, he's had to throw that thing to survive. That's how he survived. So he's supposed to be the best at it. That determines if he got shelter or not, or some new shoes. So he's a professional in that bed, and that's how he survived. The square, he's straight, so he do what he want when he want. He ain't worried about you right now. He worried about himself right now. Yeah.
Touche. Oh, guys.
I mean, what you got to say about this? I see you shied away. I've been waiting for you to really get into it. I mean, is this right? Is this really what it looked like out there?
Come on now, man! Don't put me on the seat like that. I'm over here.
I'm talking about Tammi. I ain't gonna put you on.
Okay.
Yeah, because Tammi is blushing and she just sitting back. I'm like,
that's what I'm saying. Tammi, what is it? How does it really feel? What is it supposed to like? What do you think?
I think this is a men's talk.
Call her when I need her.
Found her loophole.
Okay. Right. There you go. There go my loophole. Okay, what's the question? Give me the question. What's the question?
I'm just curious as to what your feelings are on these things that you're hearing. Because this is like for me. I mean, this was a female that was out here saying how what it's supposed to look like as far as like what she likes, and I'm just curious from a woman on the panel, like how does this sound to you? Like, I mean, what does this feel like for you?
Well, it sounds to me like there's a big age difference and a big mindset difference between me and her. Because don't get me wrong. Okay, so since you want to know from my point of view, yeah, there always was this. Yeah, we want the good guy, but we do want him to have a little thug in him. So yeah, we do. I'm just gonna be honest. We do need a little bit in that life. Now, not to the point where I need him to be wearing a hoodie and give me a black and smile smell and slap me like I know, because then I got some folks coming for him. So no, not about that life. But I love the way you put it, Troy. Like, yeah, we want somebody that's gonna stand up. Look, I need to know that I don't have to take the lead all the time. You the man, you the one in control. I want to follow you. And I want you to make decisions. I like when you ask me for my opinion, but at the end of the day, after we talk it out and you say, okay, babe, this is what we gonna do. And I'll be like, okay, daddy. No, I'm just playing. But but in a sense, that is what what we want. Rondi, how you get a whole nother screen on us? Oh, you switch phone from your computer to your phone. So, but yeah, so that's I agree. We do want that little, and it's more so the heart, the leadership, the real man standing up role. That's what it is for me. Okay, Troy.
That's helpful. I just wanted to know from a lady's perspective, because I didn't want to sound like a pimp out here. So I just wanted to make sure, like, I ain't crazy.
Listen, no, honestly, no. Real talk. No woman want a man that she can dominate.
Right.
Yeah. I'm gonna say a real one. Right. Real one. We don't want a man we can dominate. What'd you say, Shirley?
I said you said it right.
Yeah. We don't want. We don't. That's not. That's not even supposed to be in the law of nature. We want you guys. That's why ultimately everything that we've talked about, even this panel, everything, and the man's conference that I got in my head that I'm already working behind the scenes to bring about. Listen, that's what this is about, because we want the men to know who they are. We want you guys to release. Conversations like this allow for you guys to release, to have the true, vulnerable, authentic conversations. And that's what I feel will allow the real men to come out. Because one thing we've never been taught, all of us have masculine and feminine energy.
That's fact.
Yeah, that's a fact. We all have it. I don't care how manly a man really thinks he is, but the truth of the matter is masculine and feminine energy is in all, and that's a talk for a whole nother time. So with that, guys, y'all know I be looking forward to my time with y'all, because this was awesome. This was awesome. So I'm gonna go ahead and bring it in, because Yeah, this was good, and I see Rondi is on the move out in nature. He done went from the angelic realm to the nature realm. He's
Hey,
a tourist Rondi.
he's finna put it down. He's finna let y'all know I can do this too. Let me step outside.
Good
I'm mad it's
stuff.
still
Man,
daylight where he's at.
I
I'm
would.
mad it's still daylight.
Yeah, you know they in
Oh yeah,
Oakland
we
area, the Bay Area, so they got that sunlight going. They be bragging and showing it off. So then, Rondi, let me do this for you. Since you getting ready to move, and I'm wrapping it up. Any final words that you have for the people tonight, whether it's what we talked about or something that has popped into your heart or your mind, anything you want to drop on the people tonight, and tell them how they can get in contact with you.
Oh man, love you guys. Love this conversation. This was
Uh-oh.
the
Rondi.
um yeah, and I just finish what you start. Start stuff, finish what you start. Right. Um, that's my biggest takeaway from tonight is just just make sure you finish the things that you need to finish. Um, I am Rondi, aka Chocolate Buddha. You can get in contact with me, especially Instagram, um, Chocolate Buddha Yoga, Chocolate Buddha Wellness on Instagram, on YouTube, or you can check me out at Black to Yoga, www.blacktoyoga.com for sure.
Nice. Nice. Thank you so much. I love and appreciate you. And look, the chat, somebody put in the chat, great talk tonight. The men loosened up and became coin their essence. We love to see it. And they gave you guys the heart. So see, that's what this is about. So, and they say comfortable in their essence. Okay, thank you. Comfortable in their essence. Yes, you guys were. And I love it. So Shelly. What final words do you have for the people?
I think final thoughts are just know what you're doing. Think before you act. That's it. Just think, and don't make any decisions out of emotions because you will regret it later. That's about it. Just think before you act, especially in the dating market. Yeah, be selective who you breed with. and that's on today's topic. And before I go, I will say, you can reach me at Shelly.Solutions. Right now, it's a buyer's market. Now's the time to buy if you're able and capable of it. Houses are they negotiating out there. So all your real estate needs, find me. Like I said, Shelly.Solutions or butter3d@gmail.com and so much other stuff. But we're going to leave it at that. And I'm going to leave it at that. And I'm out of here.
Listen, I love it. You so silly. I love it. Hold on. Dang it, Shelly, something you said made me spark something. The always keep in mind, and I know people don't think about this because they get so caught up in the moment, but I'm just gonna go ahead and drop this on everybody. Listen, don't have don't have sex with people if you don't want to potentially have a child with them. That's all I'm just saying. I guess that's the best way that I can think to say it. I just got to go blunt and raw right now. Like, you got to think anytime that you lay down with a person, and especially, well, I can't even say in the mating years because people have had babies older in life too. Like Robert De Niro, didn't he just have a child and he like in his 70s or something? So that means them little swimmers are still hitting eggs. So be careful. Be careful. So just always keep in mind. I know people get so caught up in the flesh and the pleasure of it all. Look, do what Napoleon Hill says in Think and Grow Rich. Transmute the energy. Use the energy to make yourself rich. Follow your dream. Be mindful, because that's something that the question came up earlier What would you wish you had understood earlier? Understand that you can transmute sexual energy into something more beneficial for your life, financially, prosperously, and all that. And it's in Think and Go Rich. Go look it up. I'm not making this up. Troy, final words for the people.
Oh, I'm thinking to grow rich. That's exactly why I'm putting all that other stuff to the side for a minute so I can focus on myself. And that's why I said you focus on you. Because I didn't focus on me, and now I'm taking the time out to do just that. So I'm taking the time to focus out on me and not be focused on all those other things that, get us persuaded in other directions. So as that's happening, you know what I'm saying, I'm feeling way, way better about self. And I think I want everybody else to feel that way too. I want everybody else to take a moment, take like as they talked about, take a few moments and really think about and evaluate yourself, evaluate your situation, evaluate the people you with, the people around you, and figure out what's in your best interest for you, because you got to figure out you, and life is only going to get harder if we can't figure out how we going to move forward. So take a moment to look at you and figure out how you can move forward. And maybe what's around you is toxic. So, sorry, Shelly, I had to do it, Shelly.
Hey, it's all good. I love me.
I love it. I love it. Good stuff, guys. Listen, as always, I am just so grateful and appreciative of you guys. And just about me, I am a life coach, transformational speaker. You can find out more information about me on www.thassawoman.com. So I am available for hosting events, webinars, conferences, dig up some more information on me. So listen, again, with much love and gratitude, I do want to thank everyone for viewing. Thank my panel. You guys are phenomenal. Like, you guys are awesome. I am just so grateful for you guys. And so again, if you're not part of our community, I invite you to join us by subscribing. These gentlemen are here the third Wednesday of the month, and me and the rest of the crew are here this every week at 7:30 p.m. Eastern time with new content. Also, do us a favor, give us a like, a share of this. You guys have been commenting, so I appreciate the comments. This was definitely a good talk with the panel and from the audience. So as I get ready to end this, I am going to leave you all with this. 11, and in fact, it ties in. Actually, look how this works, Troy. It ties in to your Think and Grow Rich. 11 tips from Warren Buffett to be successful in life and business. 1, invest in yourself. 2, improve your habits. 3, know your strengths and weaknesses. 4, manage your risk. 5, love what you do. 6, take care of yourself. I think that came up earlier in the conversation. And remember, September is Self-Care Awareness Month. So not only is this the month for acknowledging the importance of taking care of you, Warren Buffett is saying so, do so also. 7, surround yourself with the right people. 8, find a mentor. 9, face your fears. 10, time is limited. Use it wisely. And I will also add, and I mentioned Outwitting the Devil. He said in that book that time is people's most valuable asset. So again, use it wisely. And 11, never, ever, ever ignore a great opportunity. Till the next time, stay amazing. Peace, love, and blessings. Good night.
Good night.